Preparing to live stream the meeting. Ta-da-da-dam.
That looks good.
Almost. Preparing to live stream the meeting. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh.
That looks good.
Yes. Okay. So, hi, everybody. This is the third live interview from Rethinking Plastics. And my name is Danielle, and today I'm here with Nicola Charlesworth and Kim Stanek. And I would like to invite you to tell us more about object density and your work, The Good Egg.
Hi, thank you very much for having us. And thanks to YIXI and Rethinking Plastic for bringing these kind of events together and still, making the best of what we can with the COVID restrictions and still sharing knowledge and ideas and all that is really important. So yeah, we're really grateful for that.
Okay, thank you.
So we need to share the screen.
Yeah.
Share screen.
Okay, so
there we go.
You can see that?
Yeah.
So we thought we'd take the presentation today like a bit of an explanation of our process, just showing where we started and how we got to the current point. And I guess also in the hopes that we don't want to keep anything too hidden in the nature of the whole precious plastic thing. And so if anyone else wanted to go through a similar process, this is how we found it. So I guess first of all, our product that is displayed at YIXI is the Good Egg. So it's a pair of stackable egg cups that show our collective effort to recycle and reuse plastic has a real effect. So this started for us by visiting Precious Plastic when we were still in Eindhoven in about February. I guess seeing Precious Plastic, we really like the ethos, how they brought it down to quite a human level, very lo-fi approach to plastic recycling. And I guess as designers, we're very aware of the things we're putting out there.
Yeah, the impact our industry has on the environment.
Yeah, so Precious Plastic kind of provided a way to start working towards addressing that plastic waste and producing things in a more sustainable manner. So we were able to see some of the machinery and the kind of plastic outcomes that came out of that, and also get some contacts that meant we could start to learn more and see how that could influence our own process.
Yeah, so from there we entered in quite a traditional industrial design process. So I'm not sure how, but we came to the idea that we'd like to look at an egg cup as a small object that's really accessible, and it's sort of something you can feel good about starting your day with a little acknowledgement that you've recycled some kind of plastic waste and it's doing your part. So yeah, we started with a sketching process and a foam modeling, exploring form and shape. And then we started 3D printing different diameters to test different eggs. We'd go down to the markets, the Eindhoven farmers markets, and get one of each size of eggs so that we can test, is it stable? Is it going to hold the egg well? And it was also quite it was a nice process because Shapeways, who we used to 3D print, they're also based in Eindhoven. So we kind of had all the different stakeholders in the process quite local, which felt really nice as a process. You're not sending contacts to the other side of the country and shipping and posting. It's all very immediate and very local to the area, which was quite nice. So we got to this point, and we originally had planned to enter this for the guiltless plastic. And then the first wave of COVID hit, and we spent 3 months in Australia. So that kind of put a pause on the project. We didn't have the contacts immediately available, and we sort of
didn't know what was going on.
Didn't quite know what we're doing. So we continued talking to the toolmaker who we met at the Precious Plastic, and then he gave us a bit more direction on things to consider from a tooling aspect, and just to keep in mind.
I guess we both studied industrial design, and we have a bit of a base knowledge on how injection molding would work, but neither of us have actually done it ourselves. So we understood the principles, but in terms of actually translating that into a functioning tool, not our expertise. So he was great, even at early stages, saying if you want to put ribs in there, like this is the maximum size you can go before you see imperfections on the outer surface, and just things that, yeah, I guess kept us in check while we were refining the shape. All good?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess the next stage was engaging with the actual plastic. So for this, through Precious Plastics, again, we found Sparkling Plastics, which is located in Den Bosch. So they're set up based on the Precious Plastic ethos, and the machinery is built off the Precious Plastics plans. And it's very much set up as a space for development and experimentation. So they approach it as you're learning lots, but so are we. So we'll kind of figure it out together.
Yeah, that was and that still is a really nice process that we're going through. We sort of meet with them on a semi-regular basis, and now that we have the tools developed, and we can use their space with them to look at what kind of colors we can produce and the finishes and all that wealth of knowledge that is on the Precious Plastic website and forums, we can start putting that into practice, because it's a very different process reading about it versus actually engaging with it and getting your hands dirty. There's a lot of things that you can only learn through doing, I found.
Yeah, especially in terms of like the plastic collection and sorting side of it, like having the plastic shredded in colored containers, just say like in this photo. There's a lot of work to get to that point, and I think that's a side that we're definitely still thinking about quite strongly, because a lot of steps have to come into place to get you to the point that you have those colors ready to produce a product
to experiment. Yeah.
And also, like on the day, actually this photo here with Kim shredding away some plastic, that yellow thing in there, they were just like plastic picnic plates, and we mentioned that we should try with some yellow. They had this plastic waste there, and to see these things that go from like an existing plate through the shredder straight into the hopper for the extruder and then come out as a new product, it's quite like, even though you know it, it was still quite eye-opening to see this plastic suddenly transform, and then it makes you realize how much plastic goes through our hands at home, and all that stuff could be reused.
Yeah, it just makes you realize all the potential for reuse of all this what's deemed waste material. It's such a widely available material. You just need to get it into the hands of the right people and make it an accessible process, and that's something that working with Precious Plastic and Sparkling Plastic has really helped.
So I guess while we were there, learned a lot about the plastic, and also we were able to test with some of their existing molds, which then allowed us to refine ours. So ones they had for like cups and things, so we were able to see how the flow went and what that might mean for our egg cups. And then that translated into further discussion with the tool maker. So he's just across the border in Germany.
Easy Molds.
Easy Molds is his
Frederick.
name. So that discussion went back and forwards, making sure that the flow went in a way that the part was both structural and also looked nice. Like if you have, especially the modelly colours flowing from certain directions, you'll see them meet in certain places. And then also the injection point. So I guess we somewhat wanted to make sure that the tool was produced in a way that the part didn't need a crazy amount of finishing. And the injection point was something that came into play there. So how we chose to address that was make the injection point quite large, and then it formed the O of our logo. So like with this, it's a fairly simple product, but what we really want to try and show with it is, I guess the ethos of the whole Precious Plastic thing, showing the variation in the color, showing that it's recycled plastic, and
really honoring that process that it's gone through. Is injection molding plastic is not a new technique,
and it can also be very high tech.
Yeah, But I think we really wanted to make a product that celebrated the lo-fi nature of it and celebrate that it is an immediate step that can be made to recycling plastic. And, you know, if you see these kind of colors, you can recognize that, you know, it had a life before this product and it may have a life again. So these ones are polypropylene, so they can be, PP number 5, so they can be endlessly recycled without losing any material or damaging the structure.
So I think this is actually the one that was made from the plastic plates that Kim was shredding in the photo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was us at Sparkling Plastics. So we were able to experiment with colors. There was definitely a steep learning curve, ensuring that we inject it correctly and also removing it from the tool. So we're very lucky we could talk to the tool maker throughout the day, who corrected our use of the tool, which was very helpful.
It's really great. The precious plastic community, everyone seems to want everyone else to succeed. So they're very generous with their knowledge, and yeah, I guess that's what we hope to do as well, is just share the process that we've gone through and, you know,
encourage others to do the same.
Yeah.
Lots of opportunity. Great. So by the end of the day, we had lots of mistakes, but also a small batch of nice colours, which I think is on the next page.
Yeah.
So some of these are at Yixi at the moment, some of them are with us, and it gave us an opportunity to see what colour variations we were able to produce. Also, when we had the mould delivered, he included some samples from what he would produce, so it was a good way to see, I guess, our capabilities versus his expertise, what those meant, what it looked like in terms of finished product, and decide how we want to go forward, I guess. So now we have a bit more of understanding of issues that can arise and possibilities in terms of finishes and colours, and we can direct that a bit more into a product that we're happy with. Also, in terms of going forward, we do want to make some refinements to the mould. So just small things that make the product feel a little bit nicer to use, we find quite important. So the idea is make those changes and continue talking to him, and then currently working out the best way to bring them to market. Making sure it's all safe and conscious, I guess, along the way.
Yeah, we want to set, I guess, a really high standard for ourselves, making sure that the plastic supply, just check off everything in our supply chain. And we really want to take responsibility for that, to make sure that we're using, certified recycled plastic and there's no contaminants, so that it can be safely used in the home for a long time.
And also still trying to keep it as local as we can, I guess. Like, not just for this project, but I guess for us as a business, it's always been quite important to keep our production network quite local. And this project has been a great example of that, in terms of certain things just become way easier. Like, you can call someone and ask them. Also, there's a lot more engagement in terms of learning what they're going through along the way, and it kind of humanises each step. And the end process, I think, builds a bit more of a story into the product, rather than it just being send off some drawings, get back a shiny product, looks nice, but you're not really sure what happens.
Yeah, it does. It's just really nice going through this kind of process with other people, sharing knowledge and trying to contribute to hopefully a more accessible, pathway from recycled plastic waste to products that other people can engage with.
And that's about it. I think we have a pretty photo to end with. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then,
yeah,
we can show it to you if you have any questions or anything you'd like.
Yeah, of course. I have a lot of questions. Thank you for the inspiring and interesting presentation. Maybe it's easier to stop share. Yeah, we can see each other a bit better. I have a few questions. I really like that you showed the whole process and you worked with a lot of different experts and companies. How easy is it to get in contact with those companies? Do you need a whole plan before they want to work with you, or Do you have some advice for designers who want to do what you did?
Yeah, well, I think for us and this project, it was a case of start small, start now. So you don't have to, I guess, have a fully resolved, perfect product when you start. The best thing that we found was just to reach out to the different, either the workshop, the Sparkling Plastic workshop. They were super generous with their time and very happy to answer any questions before we got there. Frederick from Easy Molds, he helped develop the tool. We just got his email through a word of mouth contact, and we sent him over probably 4 pages of questions and diagrams and things like that. And he's been, very generous with his time and advice. And also just people that we, find on Instagram who had some really beautiful marbled plastic products. And I've sent a couple of people a message and just say, hey, I really like the finish on that. Can you tell me a bit more about how you achieved that? And for the most part, especially within this precious plastic community, everyone wants this community to grow. It's got this really open source nature to it. So 9 times out of 10, just a little question is met with really welcoming answers and support.
It's really the most perfect community to reach out to people in. The whole, it's what it's built on. Everyone figuring it out and contributing together. So perfect process to start in.
Yeah, that's really nice. Also to know that for people that want to start with it, it's really good to know that it is possible and it's not
definitely
have all the machines yourself, but it's a community that works together. I was also wondering, in this whole process, did you had something that was most surprising to you, or went wrong? And I don't know.
I think just learning to work with the plastic. I think we get very set on processes that are finite and precise, and it's probably close to maybe working with clay, in that the plastic, whilst it is, stable and repeatable, you do have to be patient with it, and there are idiosyncrasies that pop up that
that's true.
You just have to work with, and you just have to sort of release a few expectations and let go to the process a little bit.
And also the machines are not, it's a blessing and a curse that the machines are quite lo-fi, and it's great, you can build them yourselves if you want to look at the plans, but also it means that there's not perfect fine tuning and to apply pressure to it, so you need to apply a constant pressure for a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. And on the precious plastics ones, it's like a big lever and you essentially hang off it. So sometimes works out great. Sometimes you think that you've done it and you open the tool and it's just all air and you have a little tiny puck. And
you have to wait for the tool to cool down a little bit. And, so
I think practice with the material.
And teaching patience.
Patience
is key.
I understand. And for the yellow one, you know that it was used to be a plate. Do you know that for all the parts, what it was used to be, or?
Sparkling plastic get plastic from a couple of different places. So some of them come from collections from secondhand stores and things, and they're most likely to be kids' toys or kitchen items that then get shredded. But it's also possible to buy recycled plastic already cleaned and shredded in giant bags. So in that case, no.
Okay.
But that's our next step, really, is looking at that plastic supply, because there are places that will directly sell clean shredded ocean plastic, for example, and then you can sort of choose which impact you want to make.
But then you need to, what we found so far, which we're definitely not experts, but what we found so far, especially in terms of the ocean plastic, is that you need to buy quite a large quantity.
Yeah.
So that's also something we need to look into going forward.
You can't buy it in small batches.
No, you might have to buy a ton.
Which is quite a commitment.
quite a lot of plastic.
But also, we're still learning this, so maybe there's a smaller supply that's just around the corner that we're yet to discover. So.
Or still another great thing about the precious plastics thing is that if we do find an opportunity and we need to buy a large quantity, we can see if other people in that community want to split it with us. So
and we've already we've had that discussion with someone else, And yeah, it's probably just a matter of starting it and then opening it up to that community and I guess welcoming other people into it.
Okay, that's really great to hear. It's time to wrap up.
Sorry.
I have one last question. Do you have something to say for young designers or designers that want to work with plastic, recycled plastics? One last word of advice.
I can just start, like, especially in terms of all the waste issues, it's so intimidating, and like it's really easy just to feel guilty and not know what to do. And like we're definitely not saying that we have all the answers, but I think starting
small,
somewhere
start now
helps things a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone, if you would like any further information or you wanted to reach out, just find us on a social channel or email, or we're definitely open to answering any questions that people might have.
Okay, that's really good to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.